What kicked off all these riots across the US? Well, it was apparently a guy by the name of Floyd, who we now know was a porn actor.
This is what we do, man. You feel me? You gotta get it right. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, man.
Look at this.
With the lovely, super lovely.
What's your name, girl?
Kimberly Franks.
Sexy. Look at her.
For real, huh?
Not that that's bad or good or anything, but media doesn't really mention that. And he was apparently choked out by a guy whose last name is Chauvin, which in numerology is 33, which is usually what their tip is that this is an operation. And hasn't been mentioned too much in the mainstream media that both Chauvin and Floyd worked together for like 10 years, not like a couple months.
You know, I think it's really interesting that right across the street from where Allie is standing is a restaurant called El Nuevo Rodeo. George Floyd worked at that restaurant. So did Officer Chauvin. They were both bouncers at that restaurant for 17 years. So Officer Chauvin, he knew George. They were co-workers for a very long time.
10 years at the same bar. I don't know about you, but if I had been working in the same place, working security with other guys at a bar for 10 years, you'd think that would have something to, he might say something like, George, come on, man, we've been friends for 10 years. No mention of that. Of course, he did have someone's neck on, or knee on his neck, so he wasn't all that talkative, but there's a lot of things to this story that just don't add up. And now we're seeing that all these riots happening because of it.
So we are just off Pine between 10th and 11th. So if you know where Cal Anderson Park is, we're very close to that. Let's back up here, guys. Let's back up. All right, yeah, so we're very close to Cal Anderson Park.
So, of course, the government did the coroner said he didn't die from being choked out. He died because he had underlying health conditions. Like, they're just having fun with this. This is like a huge joke to them. So then the family apparently said, we're going to get a second coroner to do a second opinion. And that coroner came out and said he died from asphyxiation. But who was that coroner? Well, it was the same coroner who said Jeffrey Epstein killed himself under suicide watch when all the cameras all of a sudden were turned off, and all of a sudden he had the materials and the ability to hang himself in his cell, which wasn't even possible. So this is the guy who's now saying, oh, I looked at it and yeah, they basically choked him out to death.
The finding was at the autopsy that he did not have any other reason to cause death. His heart and lungs and other things were not sufficiently impaired that would have caused death. And the video of the pressure on the neck and on the back is what establishes that he couldn't breathe, and goes along with his statements that he couldn't breathe. He's telling the truth, and he died because he didn't get enough oxygen to his brain.
You can't make this stuff up. The same coroner who said Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Like, they're just having fun with this. And of course we know that a lot of the problems are all being started by Antifa, sort of a George Soros operation.
These white people on the left, and they've been doing this, but all of a sudden they, are supporting the black plight. This is all this is all to get as many numbers as they can on their side to fight this civil war that they're planning out, that they're already being prepared for. You're going to have to choose a side. Don't set yourself up to get slaughtered. This is all a big setup. It's huge propaganda. The biggest propaganda that could be happening right now. And what I want people to understand and overstand and understand is that we got to put the race thing to the side right now. We have to put it to the side because we have to understand what's going on and what's important. And the reason why it's so important on black people, because I know black people are like, okay, the left versus the right, what does that have to do with us? Because the people on the left are trying to use us. The people on the left are using us. The Democratic Party are using black people to fight their war with Antifa, with it's getting very, very deep. If you don't know who Antifa is, look Antifa up. Basically a terrorist group. I don't know what people's belief system is. You can call them what you want to call them, but they're basically like a militant group, and they're anti-fascist. That's what Antifa stands for. It stands for anti-fascist. And with that being said, this group is being paid for by, you guessed it, the younger Rothschilds, the Clintons, and the Soros. And the media is downplaying this group. They're not telling people about this group.
How is Georgie not getting like a phone call or two about all this stuff? Well, it's because they're all on the same team. They know what they're doing. And after 3 months of lockdown, people were starting to have enough of it. So they gave them another reason to get locked down. They essentially contrived a lot of this stuff, brought out a lot of sort of paid troublemakers. A lot of them are in Black Lives Matter. Not that everyone who likes Black Lives Matter is a criminal, but quite a few of them are. They're kind of like the Black Antifa, some of them. And they've just been rolling them out, causing all this chaos. Police have been caught just leaving their cars in places with bricks around them.
Are those fucking bricks? What the fuck are those?
Those look like bricks. Look, yeah, those are fucking bricks.
Leaving bricks in front of retail centers, and then just leaving. So this is all orchestrated, and of course, what? It's problem, reaction, solution. So the problem is, there's a lot of riots. The reaction is that they try to provoke on mainstream media that the troops need to be sent in. And the solution is the troops are sent in, and now there's martial law, which is what they wanted. And this will essentially make it so 3 months of lockdown over coronavirus, which we're going to get into. Want to start us? Led to people just having enough, and now they're going to lock them down under martial law. All part of the plan.